15 Habits of Rich and Successful People. Today's episode explores the 15 habits of rich and successful people. This channel exists for people who want more from life. More clarity, more control, more freedom. If you are not yet committed to improving yourself daily, understand this clearly. Nothing changes by accident. Every meaningful outcome is built deliberately. It is good to have you here today. Rich and successful people behave differently than most people. They do not rely on motivation. They do not wait for permission. They do not blame circumstances. Instead, they design their lives through habits. Success is not one dramatic breakthrough. It is the quiet result of repeated behaviors practiced over years. Most people focus on outcomes. Successful people focus on systems. This video is not about shortcuts. It is about alignment. By the end of this long-form session, you will understand exactly how high-performing individuals structure their days, protect their energy, sharpen their thinking, and create leverage over time. This is not theory. This is pattern recognition. Before we begin, take a moment to reflect on this idea. Your value to the world is determined by what remains after your bad habits are removed from your good ones. Every habit either moves you forward or holds you back. There is no neutral behavior. Bad habits drain time, energy, and clarity. Good habits compound silently. The difference between average and exceptional lives is rarely visible in one day. It becomes obvious over decades. With that understanding, let us begin. Habit 1, getting up early. Waking up early is not about punishment. It is about control. A large percentage of high achievers wake up before the rest of the world. Not because they hate sleep, but because early hours offer clarity. The morning is quiet, distractions are minimal. Your mind has not yet been flooded by demands, messages, or noise. This is prime mental territory. Early risers do not wake up early without purpose. They wake up early to claim uninterrupted time. Time for thinking, time for planning, time for execution. This habit alone can dramatically change your trajectory. Consistency matters more than intensity. Waking up at the same time every day trains discipline into your nervous system. Your body adapts, your focus sharpens, your mornings become predictable and productive. It does not matter what time you go to bed occasionally. What matters is when you wake up. This creates structure. Structure creates momentum. Habit 2, regular physical activity. Your body is the vehicle through which every ambition is executed. A tired body produces a tired mind. A neglected body limits mental endurance. Successful people treat their physical health as a performance requirement, not a hobby. Movement increases circulation. It improves mood. It regulates stress hormones. Exercise is not about aesthetics. It is about capacity. When you move your body consistently, you increase your tolerance for effort. This spills into every area of life. Many people struggle with procrastination, not because they are lazy, but because they are physically inactive. Energy precedes motivation. Morning exercise is especially powerful because it creates momentum early in the day. The specific activity is irrelevant. Consistency is everything. A body that moves regularly supports a mind that can endure pressure. Habit 3. Planning the day in advance. Most people live reactively. They wake up and respond to whatever appears. High performers do not live this way. They decide how their day will unfold before it begins. Planning eliminates friction. When you know exactly what must be done, there is no mental debate. No wasted energy deciding what comes next. This creates speed. Your day becomes a sequence of intentional actions instead of random reactions. Even rest is planned. This is not rigidity. It is clarity. When your day is predefined, distractions lose power. Momentum becomes automatic. Habit 4, personal presentation and self-care. How you present yourself communicates discipline. People respond to signals, not intentions. Clean grooming, proper hygiene, and appropriate clothing signal competence and respect. This matters more than people like to admit. Opportunities are often decided before words are spoken. Presentation is not vanity. It is strategy. Successful people remove avoidable disadvantages. They prepare clothing in advance. They simplify decisions. They reduce friction. Neglect does not equal authenticity. It equals carelessness. Habit 5, mental training and meditation. Mental clarity is a competitive advantage. High performers train their minds the same way athletes train their bodies. This is not about spirituality. It is about focus and decision quality. Mental training improves emotional regulation. It increases self-awareness. It reduces impulsive reactions. When pressure rises, clarity determines outcomes. People who train their minds respond instead of react. This habit compounds quietly but powerfully. Habit 6, managing what you consume. What you consume becomes what you feel. What you feel becomes how you act. High achievers protect their energy. They limit processed foods. They moderate alcohol. They avoid excess sugar. This is not about perfection. It is about performance. Poor consumption habits degrade decision-making. Control over intake reflects control over impulses. Self-discipline in one area spills into others. Habit 7, goal, tracking, and direction. Wishes create fantasies. Goals create movement. Goals are written down. They are time-bound. They are measurable. High performers align daily actions with long-term direction. Every decision answers one question. Does this move me closer to where I want to be? Clarity removes confusion, taking full ownership. One of the clearest dividing lines between successful people and everyone else is ownership. Successful people do not blame the economy. They do not blame their parents. They do not blame the government, the system, or bad luck. They take responsibility. This does not mean they deny reality. It means they accept control. When you blame external forces, you give away power. Your future becomes dependent on things you cannot control. When you take responsibility, power returns to you. Your future becomes adjustable. Ownership is uncomfortable because it removes excuses, but it is also liberating. Every time something goes wrong, high performers ask a different question. What could I have done differently? This question creates growth. People who remain stuck often protect their ego instead of their future. They would rather be right than improve. Successful people choose progress. When you take ownership, your mindset shifts from complaint to strategy. Instead of saying there is no opportunity, you ask where opportunity exists. Instead of saying you lack skills, you ask which skills are required. Instead of saying it is unfair, you ask how to adapt. This habit alone determines whether someone stagnates or evolves. Habit 9, listening more than speaking. Most people speak to be heard. Successful people listen to learn. This is a subtle but powerful distinction. When you speak, you are recycling what you already know. When you listen, you are exposed to information you do not yet have. High performers understand that silence is an asset. They ask questions, they observe, they pay attention to nuance. They understand that information creates leverage. In conversations, they are not trying to impress. They are trying to extract insight. This habit compounds socially, professionally, and financially. People reveal opportunities unintentionally, but only listeners catch them. Those who talk too much miss patterns, they miss signals. They miss timing. Listening also builds trust. People feel valued when they are heard. Trust creates access. Access creates opportunity. Habit 10, continuous learning and evolution. The world does not reward what you once knew. It rewards what you can apply now. Successful people never stop learning. They read consistently. They invest in education. They seek mentors and coaches. Learning is not about collecting information. It is about upgrading capability. A single skill can change the entire direction of a life. Learning how to communicate better changes relationships. Learning how to manage money changes stability. Learning how to think strategically changes outcomes. High performers view education as an investment, not an expense. They understand that skills compound over decades. Most people stop learning after formal education ends. Successful people accelerate learning after it ends. They remain students for life. This keeps them adaptable in a changing world. Habit 11, Understanding personal financial flow. Many people earn money but do not understand it. They know how much they receive, but not where it goes. They react to expenses instead of directing them. Successful people track their financial flow clearly. They know how income is generated. They know how it is distributed. They know where it is wasted. They know where it is invested. This clarity creates control. When you understand your financial structure, decisions improve automatically. You begin to see patterns. You begin to spot inefficiencies. You begin to adjust intentionally. Uncertainty creates anxiety. Clarity creates confidence. This habit is foundational for long-term wealth. Habit 12, automatic investing and delayed gratification. Successful people pay themselves first. They automate saving and investing so discipline is not optional. This removes emotion from decision-making. Money is invested before it can be spent. This habit builds wealth quietly. Delayed gratification is a defining trait of long-term success. Short-term pleasure is traded for long-term freedom. This is not deprivation. It is prioritization. When you control spending, money becomes a tool instead of a source of stress. Habit 13, relationship maintenance. Relationships are assets, but assets require maintenance. Successful people invest time and effort into their network. They follow up, they check in, they remember important details, they show appreciation. Relationships weaken when neglected. High performers understand that value is mutual. They give before they ask. They contribute before they extract. This creates goodwill that compounds over time. Opportunities often flow through people, not systems. Strong relationships create invisible leverage. Habit 14, mind your own business. Reputation is fragile and valuable. Successful people protect theirs carefully. They avoid gossip. They avoid unnecessary drama. They avoid speaking negatively about others. They understand a simple rule. If someone speaks poorly about others to you, they will speak poorly about you. Integrity creates trust. Trust creates opportunity. Your name carries weight long before you enter a room. Protect it. Habit 15, emotional control. Emotions influence decisions. Decisions shape outcomes. Successful people do not suppress emotion. They manage it. They pause before reacting. They think before responding. This creates consistency under pressure. Emotional discipline prevents unnecessary damage. Many failures are not caused by lack of ability, but by emotional mismanagement. When emotions run unchecked, judgment collapses. Those who master emotional control remain effective in chaos. This habit alone separates leaders from liabilities. Bonus habit: taking immediate action. Knowledge without action creates regret. Most people know what they should do. They delay. Successful people act when clarity appears. They understand that waiting rarely improves outcomes. Action creates feedback. Feedback creates adjustment. Adjustment creates progress. Momentum is built through movement. No one is coming to do it for you. The moment you act is the moment your future begins to shift. If you apply even half of these habits consistently, your life trajectory will change. Not overnight, not dramatically at first, but steadily, reliably, permanently. Be honest with yourself. Which habits are already part of your life? Which ones are missing? At this point, you have heard the habits. You understand the behaviors. You recognize the patterns. Now comes the part most people never do. Integration. Knowledge alone does nothing. Awareness alone changes nothing. Transformation happens only when behavior changes. Most people consume motivational content for emotional relief, not action. They feel inspired for a moment, then return to old routines. That is not what this moment is for. This part of the video is about turning information into identity. Because habits are not tasks you complete. They are signals of who you are becoming. Every habit you adopt is a vote for a future version of yourself. Every habit you ignore is a vote against it. Rich and successful people are not special. They are aligned. Their daily actions match their long-term vision. Most people live in contradiction. They want one life, but practice habits that produce another. This is where the gap exists. Let us slow this down and go deeper. Understanding why habits matter more than goals. Goals are destinations. Habits are vehicles. You can want financial freedom, but if your habits produce debt, the goal is irrelevant. You can want confidence, but if your habits reinforce avoidance, confidence never arrives. Successful people focus less on what they want and more on what they do daily. They understand that identity follows behavior. If you wake up early consistently, you become disciplined. If you exercise consistently, you become resilient. If you plan consistently, you become intentional. You do not wait to feel like that person. You act like that person until the identity catches up. This is why habits are powerful. They bypass motivation. Motivation is emotional. Habits are mechanical. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires negotiation. The goal is not to feel like doing the right thing. The goal is to do it automatically. The compounding effect of small discipline. Most people underestimate small actions because they feel insignificant. Waking up 30 minutes earlier feels small. Reading 10 pages feels small. Saving a small percentage feels small. But compounding is invisible at first. Just like interest, habits grow quietly. The early stages feel unrewarding. This is where most people quit. Successful people understand this phase. They continue even when results are not visible. They trust the process because they understand the math of consistency. 10 minutes a day becomes 60 hours a year. One small habit becomes a system. A system becomes a lifestyle, and a lifestyle determines outcomes. Why most people never change? It is not lack of intelligence. It is not lack of opportunity. It is identity attachment. People protect who they think they are. They say things like, "This is just how I am. I am not a morning person. I am not good with money. I am not disciplined." These are not facts. They are habits disguised as identity. The moment you change behavior, identity begins to shift. This is uncomfortable. Growth always threatens the old self. Successful people expect discomfort. They do not interpret it as a signal to stop. They understand that resistance is proof of change, reframing discomfort as progress. Every habit on this list will feel unnatural at first. Getting up early will feel wrong. Exercising consistently will feel inconvenient. Planning your day will feel restrictive. Controlling emotions will feel unnatural. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of rewiring. Discomfort means you are no longer running on autopilot. Successful people do not seek comfort. They seek alignment. They understand that comfort preserves the past. Discomfort builds the future. The role of environment in habit formation. Willpower is overrated. Environment is underestimated. Successful people design environments that support their habits. They remove friction from good behaviors. They increase friction for bad ones. They place gym clothes where they are visible. They keep junk food out of reach. They schedule commitments publicly. They understand that discipline is easier when the environment is aligned. If your environment supports distraction, distraction wins. If your environment supports focus, focus becomes natural. Change your surroundings and habits follow. Emotional control as a superpower. Emotional control is not emotional suppression. It is awareness. Successful people feel emotion deeply, but they do not let it drive decisions. They pause. They create space between stimulus and response. This space is where power lives. Most regrets come from emotional reactions. Most breakthroughs come from calm decisions. When pressure rises, emotional discipline becomes visible. Those who can remain calm when others panic gain leverage. This applies to money, relationships, leadership, and crisis. Relationships as long-term assets. Most people treat relationships transactionally. They reach out when they need something. They disappear when they do not. Successful people play a longer game. They invest without immediate expectation. They add value quietly. They build trust over time. They understand that reputation compounds just like money. Every interaction either strengthens or weakens trust. Your name travels faster than you do. Protect it. Why? Action always beats perfection. Waiting for the perfect moment is a form of fear. Successful people act when clarity appears, not when confidence appears. Confidence is built through action, not before it. Every attempt provides feedback. Every failure provides data. Stagnation provides nothing. Progress requires movement. You do not need certainty to begin. You need commitment. The truth about long-term success. Success is boring. It is repetitive. It is disciplined. It is unglamorous most days. The highlight moments are rare. The routine is constant. Successful people fall in love with the process. They do not chase excitement. They build systems. They understand that freedom is earned through structure. Rewriting your self-image. You will never outperform your self-image. If you see yourself as undisciplined, your behavior will match it. If you see yourself as capable, your actions align. The fastest way to change self-image is not affirmations. It is evidence. Every habit you keep is evidence of capability. Keep promises to yourself. Start small. Build trust internally. Confidence grows from reliability. The cost of inaction? There is a price for discipline, but there is also a price for regret. Inaction compounds just like action. Years pass quickly. One day you will look back and realize that time was always available. Opportunity was always present. Only action was missing. Do not let this video be another moment of temporary inspiration. Let it be a reference point, a final reflection. Ask yourself these questions honestly. Who do I want to be 5 years from now? What does that person do daily? What habits does that person refuse to compromise on? Then start acting like that person today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, if you implement even a fraction of what you have heard consistently, your life will change. Not dramatically overnight, but unmistakably over time. The future is not created by chance. It is created by choice. And choice becomes habit. This moment matters only if you act. Your next action determines everything that follows. Before you go, take a moment to support the channel. If this video gave you clarity, motivation, or a new perspective, press the like button. It helps this message reach more people who need it. And if you want more long-form motivational content like this, make sure to subscribe. New videos are released regularly to help you stay focused, disciplined, and moving forward. Thank you for spending your time here. Your time is valuable, and we appreciate you choosing to invest it in yourself. See you in the next video.